Okay. Yeah, it's like you get your rainbow after the storm. This is the visual I'm being given right now. Horrible storm. And it's finally over. And you step outside. And there may be trees down, power outages, and you're just like in shock. Like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was this bad. And you're assessing the damage on your house. And how's your car doing? Is anybody hurt? Is everybody okay? But there's a moment, you have that moment once you assess what has really gone on and some serious clarity. You look up in the sky and there's your rainbow. And it shows you the beauty and the power of Mother Earth in an instant. That's what it feels like you're stepping into. Okay, these next 2 weeks, you're stepping out of your house. You may be assessing some of the damage, especially for those of you who have had separations or a challenging last couple of weeks or last couple of months. But in that moment, you get your rainbow. And in that moment, you also get your clarity. For those of you who have been unsure whether to stay or leave a relationship, you know. Over the next 2 weeks, you know, I encourage you to wait until August before you make any final decisions, unless this is something you've been sure of for quite some time and you just needed that extra little bit of clarity. For others of you, that clarity that comes through may really shock you. You may have been ready to walk out, really ready to walk away from somebody. But you look up and you see that rainbow and that power and how healing Mother Earth can be, as well as ferocious, right? With these trees down and power outages. But it inspires you to keep going. You see the damage, but you know how to clear it. You see the damage, but you know how to heal it now. And your partner feels like they show up. For many of you, it feels like your partner stands side by side and you go at it together. You clean the front lawn. You know, you're picking up these piles of debris and you're getting rid of them and you guys work at this together. There's healing here, okay? But either way, you're getting your rainbow. It feels like a rainbow of inspiration, a rainbow of power, a rainbow of love. And that may sound a little corny, but it really is true. But there's peace here, Cancer. Okay, let's get a little bit more clarity on what all this means for you in love. Cancer in love, July 15th through the end of the month. Okay. During this time, especially as you're stepping out of the house and you're still in that space of assessing what's really gone on, you may be pleasantly surprised that there wasn't as much damage and there are no power outages and it was a storm that the Weather Channel just blew out of proportion, okay? And you're pleasantly surprised. But for those of you who are stepping out and you're like, wow, this is way more than I know how to handle alone, reach out to friends and reach out to people who can help you. I'm definitely seeing a lot of emotional support around you at this time, Cancer. I'm also just seeing the necessity to go out with friends, to step away from stresses. You may have been spending a lot of time alone and you may really just want that. You may really want to be alone the next couple of weeks, dealing with what you need to deal with, feeling your emotions. Don't sit in that. You're not going to get anywhere if you stay stuck in the house, okay? If there's something that needs to heal, you need to take steps now to heal it. Whether that means you stay in a relationship or you leave a relationship, now it's time to take steps forward. But spending time with your friends, being social, being out of the house, and also not being afraid to ask people to help you. Cancer, how often do people show up in your life asking you to help them? Do you ever say no? Probably very rarely, okay? But now it's time to call on some of these people to help and support you. I feel like there's a resolution here you're going to like. I think for many of you, you may really have been grieving the end of a relationship, really trying to work up the courage to maybe walk away, and all of a sudden you realize that's not what's of the highest good, okay? Some of you are going to be pleasantly surprised when you step out of your house and assess the damage. Whether the trees are down or not, your partner shows up and helps you, or you feel this like sudden rush of love and understanding and clarity, how to move forward together. I feel you being inspired, but you gotta step out of the house. Keep an open mind at the center of the reading. Keep an open mind to love if you're single. Keep an open mind to at least assessing the damage and asking for some help. For some of you asking for help, you're asking your partner to show up and do this with you. Hey, I cannot do this alone. Remember, we are lovers, but we are best friends. If you're in love with me on any level still, show up and do it with me, Cancer. I feel like you are loved. I feel like you are loved. Keep an open mind. If you are not, ready to walk away from a relationship. Keep an open mind to healing. It feels like you guys are going to get that. It feels a little intense right now. As I'm sitting in your energy, I can feel my body getting really, really warm. I think for some of you, you may get a little overwhelmed, almost like having an anxiety attack of sorts, although it doesn't feel quite as quick of an onset, but it feels like this energy is just kind of building and building and building and building. Something pops that bubble for you. Okay, so you don't have all that pressure. You don't have all this intense energy and emotion buried anymore. It's coming up and out, and that can be an intense process. Some people may be eclipsed out at this time. You may have separated from friends and from exes that are trying to resurface at this time, especially during Mercury retrograde. If it's people from the past, I'm really feeling not to make a decision and not to get too close, especially reactive over the next couple of weeks, okay? Be around friends, that's great. Sorry, Cancer. My Cancer kitty jumps up and blocked the camera. Keep an open mindset being out with friends. Be a little cautious with people coming back from the past, okay? Definitely be a little cautious. It does feel like some of you may be dealing with exes. The chemistry really isn't there. If you rekindle something this month, you may regret it by the time August comes around, okay? But for those of you who are really working at it with somebody right now, this isn't about lack of chemistry or attraction isn't enough. It feels like this lack, this deficit or void that you guys have been feeling that kind of had you standing at that crossroads assessing things to begin with, feels like this is getting resolved. For some of you, I really feel like some of you you're getting back together, but it's not, okay, I'm settling for something that isn't good. It's like you do it peacefully, okay? Romantic feelings here. Clarifying, let your friends help you, okay? Let your friends help you deal with all of the emotions, the difficult ones, the fun ones. For some of you, if you're single, you may be dating or have a romantic offer from a friend, okay? Just putting that out there for you for sure. There's feelings here. It feels like there's still love here, Cancer, between you and somebody. If you still want this, if you are still willing to work at it and your partner will show you that they are still willing to work at it, something gets resolved for sure. Feeling like you guys may have a little crossover right now with Virgo energy. So you may have Virgo in your chart. Your partner may be a Virgo. Feels like you're heading actually not just into a time where things are healed. It feels like there's something fun here, okay? Center of the reading, keep an open mind to getting out of the house. Keep an open mind to being social with friends. Keep an open mind to not giving up so quickly on this current relationship. You may have had some serious difficulty, okay? Showing up here. This is being clarified by flirt. If you're single, get out and flirt. But I'm feeling fun, flirtatious energy coming through current relationships. I'm really, really, really feeling flirtatious, fun, romantic energy. But it's not just like superficial flirtation and it's just, no. This isn't like a drunken night of flirting and then the next morning you're over it. This feels like real emotion. This feels like real deep connection. Something happens when that rainbow shows up, however that manifests for you, Cancer. It just shows you that there's something beautiful still here. And you stop and you look at it and you admire it. And you're like, wow, I can't believe I almost walked out on this. Wow, I can't believe I was going to throw this all away. I just feel like some of you get this new surge of energy and inspiration to keep working on something with the partner. And I feel like you are getting some really good results here, okay? I will show you this. Unrequited love is being clarified by freedom and separation. So for those of you, this has been ongoing for quite some time. And that rainbow isn't about inspiring you to rekindle and work at it. That rainbow is showing you that there's too much that has gone wrong. There's too much to clean up. I can't do this work alone. I don't have help. But there's still something beautiful. I'm going to go after that rainbow now. I'm going to allow myself to be open and available to a higher vibing love. That may be an outcome for some of you. That freedom's going to feel really good. For others of you, I really think that you are going through some separations. You've been thinking about separating. See, there are two separation cards in this deck. And yes, they show up as separation, but the energy is a little bit different. This particular separation card doesn't always mean you have to separate permanently from a partner. It just means you need to get your life back. You need to prioritize you, prioritize self-love. Someone could have been smothering you. It could be that emotions and things got so heated and so intense, you were suffocated by that, not necessarily the person, but you couldn't even function in that situation anymore. Yes, take some time to yourself. I think you guys have been doing this already. This is getting resolved one way or another. But when this horse or this unicorn leaps over this fence, okay, that fence is not going to keep a unicorn stuck. That's just like a joke, really. Once you realize that there's an obstacle that you can easily jump over and leap over, it feels like when you get that freedom is that rainbow, is that beautiful reminder, not just of how powerful and beautiful Mother Earth is, but your own God or Goddess energy. You really seem to step into that. For many of you, that is your freedom, taking your power back, prioritizing, okay, not just being in the relationship 24/7. You're going to go out with friends. You're going to have another focus. That will be enough freedom to bring you back together with somebody and have healthier boundaries, a healthier relationship, and you're really going to want that. For others of you, okay, you take this freedom, you leap over that fence, and you're not looking back. Be out with friends. You may get an offer from a friend, a romantic offer from a friend. I think I said this for Aquarius too. So if you have some Aquarian friends out there, I'm just telling you, you may make that offer to a friend. It does feel like some friendships turn into something a little more romantic. Take it slow. Don't make any huge commitments or huge decisions over the next couple of weeks. But if you are moving on from a relationship, you've already made that decision, you're flirting, you're out with friends, keep an open mind to love. Just make sure you are not stuck in the house. For those of you in committed relationships and you haven't been at a crossroads necessarily with your romantic partner, it does feel like for many of you in very committed relationships, in long-term committed relationships, you have had a little bit of a challenging time. But for those of you where it's challenging, you work through it together, you've been through this process before, you know you guys are going to be okay, and it does feel like so many of you will resolve this and stay together. This freedom, yes, it does speak to needing to be out with friends and being more social. I'm getting financial freedom here, especially with finances and career, crowning this. For some of you, finances were causing a lot of anxiety. We're just causing some issues, money issues, and that has definitely spilled over into love. This feels like it's getting resolved and definitely getting financial freedom here. I'm also feeling like for those of you in really healthy, really positive relationships, you guys are not separating. You may be having this type of experience with a family member. You may have chosen to separate from a toxic family member. For some of you, it feels like it could be a friend too, but I'm getting more family energy here. This could be an in-law. You may have just healthy boundaries, but I feel like some of those boundaries may have been suffocating. Like, I shouldn't have to have all of these healthy boundaries to navigate, you know, going over to my in-laws' house to get through and stay sane. I'm not going. I give myself the freedom now. If you want to go spend time with them and you know that's toxic for me, that's cool, do you. But when you go see your family, I'm going out with my friends, or I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to be working on my projects and my work and my money, okay? For some of you in committed relationships, otherwise things are good between the two of you, but there are some issues with family members. That feels like a really healthy resolution. I'm not saying your partner's going to love that, but they're going to have to deal with it. It feels like you're at a point right now that if you don't get your freedom and a healthy dose of freedom that allows you to be stable and sane in your current relationships, you'll probably get out of them. And your partner may realize the severity of that and support it whether they like it or not. I do feel peace here for you. Bottom of the deck, we have children. We have healing. Give your relationship a chance, okay? There's definitely some Virgo energy here too. Children are on your mind. What is the healthiest for your kids? If you're single, calling in new partners. Are these partners good enough to meet your children? Have you called in somebody that's high vibing enough that you trust with your children? You may be stepping out onto the lawn, assessing the damage, and you're like, For me and my kids right now, I got to clean all this up before I can entertain love. That's okay. If that applies to you right now, Cancer, you're focused on kids, family, you're focused on your career, okay? And that's totally fine to take that approach. I actually recommend that. If there's too much debris, there's too much to clean up, there's too much to heal right now, that has to be your focus. Essentially, self-love, taking care of you, taking care of home, taking care of family. Then, once that lawn's clean, then maybe in August you step out and you're out with friends and you're entertaining some new partners. But children are definitely on your mind here. But it feels like things around children and family are healing for sure. You're definitely healing. There's definitely freedom. Whatever felt suffocating to you, it no longer feels like it has the power to suffocate us. Like you've gotten that clarity. You've stepped out of those kinds of situations. But for many of you, that freedom doesn't necessarily mean you step out of a relationship altogether. It does mean healthier boundaries. It does mean freedom from other situations, again, like toxic family members, and you saying, no more, I'm just not doing that anymore. I tried it. I tried to heal. I'm going to remove myself from that. And that's going to have to be okay. Cancer, it's okay to put your foot down. So beautiful that Cancers are such kind-hearted, empathetic people, but you also have to protect you. You have to protect your energy. I feel like that comes through really strong too over the next couple of weeks, the necessity to protect your energy. But I feel like you guys are fiercely on that. But I'm telling you this. For many of you, that aha moment, that rainbow moment that I just keep channeling, it brings you back together in love. There's flirtation, there's fun, there's romance. So keep an open mind to it, even if you've really been at your wit's end. I really see some of you coming back together and being really, really, really happy that you gave it another shot. For those of you who are absolutely not willing to do that, that's okay. Clean that debris, cleanse that karma, cleanse any of that negative energy, really cut ties with exes fully at this time, especially people coming back during retrograde, like really letting go of that energy. Focus on your friends. Focus on your money. Focus on your children. That's all you need to do. Good love is going to meet you there if that's what you want and you're single at this time. I really think you guys are about independence and freedom.